It's semi-finals weekend at the Rugby World Cup, and Durban is the venue for France, South Africa. This coastal city on the eastern side of South Africa is a haven for holidaymakers, surfies and sunseekers. It's also the home of the Zulu monarchy, the Kingdom of KwaZulu-Natal. And this is the headquarters of Natal Rugby, the team known as the Banana Boys. But a game here is more than just a game, it's an occasion, an opportunity to have a braai or a barbecue. Indeed, it's a chance to have a party. And that is surely what will happen if South Africa win here this afternoon. But now we pull down to Kings Park in Durban and reveal another side of the city. And let's have a look. It's a temperature of 20 degrees Celsius, humidity 75%. And what we've had here is 7 or 8 hours of very, very heavy rain. And in fact, the kickoff has been delayed an hour and a half, but we are due to go in about 10 minutes from now. And an opportunity to welcome into the broadcast former All Black coach John Hart. Well, John, it's been frustrating for everybody, hasn't it?
Been very frustrating, Grant, but I'd say particularly frustrating for the players because, you know, to wait around to build to a game at 3 and then to wait till 4:30 be really hard, but everyone's on edge.
The crowd in very good hearts. They've waited a long time for this game to get underway. In fact, it's not a packed house here at Kings Park. The sold-out signs were out earlier in the day, but a number of people have stayed away, and I suppose we're down on maybe 5,000 or 6,000 people, so probably 40 or 45,000 people in the ground. Great anticipation. Big day for South African rugby. Big day for French rugby too. And it hasn't been easy on the players, having to hang around and wait, but we're just about to get the players out onto the field. So at Kings Park in Durban, all in readiness now for this game. It'll be played under very difficult conditions. The rain has stopped. It did so about an hour and a half ago. But although they've done their best with the surface of the ground, John Hart, it's still going to be very, very difficult for the players.
Yes, well, you can see the ground. The ground is really muddy now, and they're trying to get the water off. They've really churned it up, so I think they've made the ground very, very slippery, which will make it even worse. I guess they're in mud now where they might have only been in water, and that's whether that was the right thing to do is hard to say, Grant, but conditions couldn't be worse underfoot.
Let's meet the players who will line up for France in the semi-final of this afternoon. The first man, number 15, Jean-Luc Sardoni, the 28-year-old. Won't be a day for the backs, one wouldn't imagine. The French captain is on the left wing, Philippe Saint-Andre, the 28-year-old. Thierry Lacroix, such an important man so far for France in the Rugby World Cup with his goal kicking. And in his 110th international for France today, number 13, Philippe Salard. Dangerous on the right wing, number 14, Emile Intermac. And he had a bad game in the quarterfinals. Looking for improvement today, number 10, Christophe Delot. And the new man in the French side, he was a regular in 1991, he's back, Fabien Gaultier. Into the front row, the veteran loose head prop, Louis Amaury. Beside him is the 27-year-old hooker, Jean-Michel Gonzalez. And completing the front row for France is the 23-year-old Christian Califano. On the blind side of the scrum, one of the huge men in the French pack, Abdul Benazi. Into the second row, jumping near the front of the line-out, Olivier Merle. And beside him, 29 years of age yesterday, Olivier Roumat. The open side flanker, an important man in these conditions, Laurent Caban. And in the back of the scrum, 35 years of age, but playing like a 25-year-old, Marc Session. And the coach of the French team, Pierre Berbizier. Now the South African side, first time at the World Cup, of course, into the semi-finals. And there we go. Now he might be wearing jersey number 24, so some of these numbers aren't quite right. Andre Joubert. Left wing is Chester Williams, 4 tries last week against Madu Sabo. He's normally at first 5/8, but he's been converted into a number 12 for this tournament. Henny LaRue. Yapi Mulder plays in jersey number 19. Pina. Into the second row we go, the big man, and jumping at the front of the line-out, number 4, Cobus Visa, and beside him, Hannes Stradum. There's number 7 jersey to be worn by Ruben Kruger for South Africa. And one of the surprise selections, certainly in the number 8 jersey anyway, former lock forward Mark Andrews. And Kitch Christie is the coach of the South African team. So wonderful anticipation here at Kings Park, where South Africa do have a wonderful record. The only side that's ever beaten them in international matches was the 1986 Cavalier team from New Zealand. France have never won here. They've had 2 draws. And so there is tremendous anticipation as to what might happen under these very difficult conditions at Kings Park. So almost set to bring them on. You can see the surface water lying around. There's plenty of that. Although, to be fair, John, it has improved a little in the last hour or so, but my word, it would need to.
Yes, haven't had much rain in the last hour, but, you know, as we know, the underfoot conditions. And I noticed a number of the South Africans looks as though they've changed their jerseys, which is to wear long sleeves, I would believe.
Yes, that's right. Just an explanation. If you do see some strange numbers with the South African players, as I said, number 24, Andre Hubert, that's because the number 15 jersey has had the arms cut off or shortened, and they all want to wear long-sleeved jerseys today, so they've had to go into some different numbers. So talk about a commentator's nightmare. We've got the French backs with their hair shaven off. We've got South Africans with numbers like 24, 19 and 23. But at least we're going to get a game. And there was some suggestion around about 10 minutes or so ago that if the match hadn't been played, it would have been awarded to France, because the explanation was that if we'd gone into extra time and they go down through the various criteria, France was the team that had the least number of players sent off at the tournament. Goodness me, that would have started a riot around this place.
Yes, I don't think I would have liked to have been sitting here if that had happened, Grant, but thankfully it looks as though we're into a game, and that's the big thing for us tonight.
Philippe Saint-Andre to bring the French out onto the field. They had their victory here in the quarterfinal against Ireland last weekend. Very difficult to predict how the French are going to play. They wouldn't know, I don't think. On a good day, they're world beaters.
Yes, I guess the conditions are against them because they love to run the ball and they can move it and they've got great speed. But today you won't see much of that. I think it will be the team that can handle the pressure, who can make the least mistakes and who can kick the goals, will be the winners in this very important semi-final.
Francois Pienaar and the South Africans, they'll be assured of a marvellous welcome. A highly parochial crowd, no more so than at Kings Park in Durban. They love playing here because they get such a marvellous reception. Chester Williams back in the team. Andre Hubert, so much said about this guy this week, having broken his index finger in the quarterfinal last weekend, but he's out into the semi-final arena this afternoon.
Certainly a couple of crucial decisions for the South Africans, playing Hubert with a broken bone, but also moving Mark Andrews to number 8. And in a day like this, when the weather really commands that the number 8 forward is fully accurate and can come off the back of the scrum, that may be a big decision.
Well, just listen to this for Francois Pienaar and the South African team. And now the French. Now, just by way of explanation, we've had another explanation given to us. Edward Griffith, the South African press officer, says the referee, that's Derek Bevan, has said that if the game is called off in the first half, the outcome will be decided by tries scored by each team at the time of calling off. If the game is called off in the second half, the score at the time will stand. So let's just hope there's no further rain. We haven't had for some time. And I can tell you, as the players form up now for the national anthems, the Springboks have come out wearing their regulation jersey numbers. So there's been confusion all round, and they will be playing in their regulation jersey numbers. So in other words, Andre Hubert will be wearing 15, Yapi Mulder 13, and Joel Stransky 10.
Ladies and gentlemen, please would you stand for the national anthems of South Africa and France.
So much at stake in this match. Place in the final of the Rugby World Cup in 1995. That match at Ellis Park in Johannesburg next Saturday, as we have a final check of the French, and they come back to the scene of their quarter-final triumph over Ireland. They made just the one change, and at half-back, Fabien Gaultier, the first choice in 1991, comes in to replace Orban Weber. Still that massive forward pack, fellas like Merle Rumarts, Benazi and Session, who will really test the South Africans this afternoon. And some significant changes from the quarter-final game against Manu Samoa for South Africa. Number 14, James Small, is back after missing the last two matches. Henny LaRue returns to the centres to allow Joel Stransky back at first 5'8". And, of course, the major change and talking point, the placing of regular lock forward Mark Andrews at number 8. Final check of the replacement players for both teams. And John Hart, just conditions, we know what they're like underfoot, but just watching during the national anthems there, all the flags were up, and it would appear that the wind, if there is one, is going to favour South Africa in the first half.
Yes, it looks as though the French may have decided to go into the wind, and we've got the South Africans kicking off. And the control of the ball today will be so vital. The big men will really have to get the bodies down. They will have to get secure ball, and that, I guess, is the challenge for the South African pack, particularly bringing Mark Andrews in at number 8, which, you know, no doubt he is a world-class lock, but to convert him to a number 8 in a day like this is a very big decision by their coaching staff.
They were worried about the lineouts, so they've done something about it by playing Mark Andrews at number 8. Derek Bevan of Wales to referee this match, with assistance from Clayton Thomas of Wales, Wayne Erickson from Australia. A final check by Derek Bevan. And Joel Stransky gets this semi-final match underway. And it sips off the hands of one of the Frenchmen and will go to the first line-out of the match.
Well, this is an area which will be critical today. Both sides looking to get domination at the set piece to be able to control the ball and put the ball in behind the opposition.
Already the South Africans have pulled a lot of players out. They've left 4 in there, including Andrews, who's at number 2. Rousseau to throw, beautifully deflected. Van der Westhuizen. Dangerous run-up. Good support from Durant. Van der Westhuizen goes again. Big gap here for Cobus Visa. 15 metres out. Now Pienaar. Electric start by South Africa. Thinks about the blind side. Stransky thought about a drop kick. Now Hubert. And offside. Offside against the French. And a classic start by South Africa.
Magnificent play from South Africa. They won the short line out, and Van der Westhuizen, already into the game, made a brilliant run through the middle, and then the Pienaar, the skipper, carried it on. It may be that we saw a bad decision from Van der Westhuizen to go the wrong way, but the penalty came anyhow.
Joel Stransky has an early opportunity with the ball still in reasonable condition. Been out of action for a couple of matches. Used to be his home ground here at Kings Park, former Natal player. Perfect start by Joel Stransky and the Springboks, and they lead by 3-0. Tense look on the face of Pierre Babizier, and South Africa have the initial advantage in the match. Kicked out by Dalo, didn't make the 10 metres, play on anyway, was taken by the Springboks. Van der Westhuizen playing the conditions well. Sadorni runs it into touch. Well, he is a key player.
Certainly is, and he's reading it very well then. Push the ball in behind, and here's a penalty. Penalty to the French for pushing.
Mark Andrews it was. And Terry Lacroix in this electric atmosphere. The French must feel very lonely out there. Been in deadly goal-kicking form at this tournament, Terry Lacroix.
South Africans have had a magic start at the set piece.
3 minutes gone. Olivier Merle got high. It was on the ground. It was a ruck. And so France's ball. Marc Session, last man up. Fabien Gaultier is the only change in the French team, the halfback, in for Aubin Wibert. Good, solid-looking French scrum. Delo. They might use that kick quite often today. It's proved effective too, but he's offside. Just see how it held up. And that will be a real encouragement to both sides to know that they can put that little kick on the ground.
But really the French made a major blunder then, because clearly the forwards are all in front of the first 5-8 kicking. And now given the South Africans another opportunity.
Well, there's the protective bandage on the hand of Andre Hubert. Hand was broken last week. He's had a lot of treatment during the week. So Chris Rousseau to throw. Rousseau into the Springbok #1 lineup. There's Andrews. Easy take for Benazi. Key man in the lineup for France. Now Gaultier to Delo. Merle. They love to run with the ball, the big French forwards. Boys turn the wrong way. Van der Westhuizen. Sardoni. Well, ball control from the French forwards lacking.
And there was a case of Henny LaRue, the little second 5-8, going in and actually taking the ball off Merle. So once again, it's the South Africans with an advantage now. Hard on attack on the 22.
3 points to 0. South Africa lead. 5 minutes gone in the match. Cobus Visa. Taken beautifully by Hannes Stradum. And this will be a penalty. One of those French players, you saw him, he didn't retire behind the hindmost foot, came in from the side of the maul, and the penalty goes to South Africa.
Well, it's certainly France who are making the errors. They're under pressure and are not responding too well at the moment.
Another opportunity then for Joel Stransky. Hit the first one perfectly.
Interestingly, Grant, the control in the wet of the South African forwards has been very, very good at line-out, isn't it? They've taken 3 major takes already in the game.
They were concerned about the line-outs. That's the reason that they brought Mark Andrews in. Let's have another look here. And the Frenchman coming off the side, Benazi. Good breeze behind Joel Stransky. Van der Westhuizen holding it. Not this time. So 1 out of 2 so far for Joel Stransky, and the Springboks continue to lead by 3-0.
Interesting tactic here by the French. They are splitting the sides of the field. They're getting their forwards on both sides of the field to split it up at this kickoff.
French standing back very deep. They want the long kick out from Delo. Chester Williams waits, gets a big cheer. Now Hubert. We've seen a lot of these sort of kicks at the Rugby World Cup. And what he's saying to the French is, you force it and restart from the 22. So Terry Lacroix has it now. He's going to unleash a big kick down the middle of the park. Waiting back is Stransky. Now he'll kick it straight down the middle as well, but not with the same distance. Although it really slides off the surface. And they'll have to kick this one out. It was carried back. And so it's worked as far as the Springboks are concerned. They get the line out throw on the 22.
Certainly we're getting some very threatening looking weather coming at us now, Grant, as we've got more rain with us, and certainly the clouds threatening seriously above us now.
Yes, it hasn't rained for 2 or 3 hours, but it looks as though it's going to very shortly, if not already. As we go back, and it's tapped again on the Springbok side. They're winning all the lineouts, and Van der Westhuizen has kicked it out on the full.
French calling short this time.
All sorts of pushing and shoving. Too many Springboks in the line-out, so quickly taken by France. Delo away for Philippe Salah. 10-metre line of French territory. South Africa, as heavy rain starts to fall again, lead by 3 points to 0. Delo with the kick, and a lovely kick too. And down it comes again.
Philippe Salah did magnificently then for the French, taking the ball into the ruck. It was won quickly, and they've cleared into touch now, but then on the 22 on attack as the rain really comes down here at Kings Park.
This is torrential. Now, the explanation we had given to us a few moments ago is the game is called off in the first half. The outcome will be decided by tries scored by each time of the calling off. So no tries as yet, of course. As a good clearing kick made by Van der Westhuizen. And everybody ducking for cover.
And the players aren't on their own now. It's certainly very wet up here.
Thrown by Gonzalez. Taken in by Mark Andrews. And the ball lost forward by the Springboks, and it's French ball. Very, very difficult conditions.
Mark Andrews standing off the scrum on the blind side.
Scrum fed by Gaultier, held by Session.
Expect a kick, I think, from Gaultier.
That's the 10-metre line in South African territory. And it was off the ground, and so it's green ball this time. One or two of the players looking towards Wayne Eriksson on the sideline, suggesting something might have happened that they didn't like. 10 minutes gone in the first half. The South Africans with a significant weight advantage. Van der Westhuizen for Hubert. Williams coming pretty quickly here. Sadoni.
Excellent tactics by South Africa. Playing down the sideline then, into the wind, with the wind. Putting pressure on the French to put the ball into touch, and now it is a South African line out.
Olivier Merle. He's at 2 against Cobus Visa. Looking for Straydom. Seemed to be pushed. He was pushed. A lot of early infringements, especially from the French. And another chance here. Van der Westhuizen wants it quickly. Stransky eyes the posts and decides he'll have a go.
Well, I would think you've got to take every chance you get, Grant, in a day like today, when the weather conditions will get worse by the looks of it, make it very hard to score tries. So any points, you've got to take the chances while you can.
Have a look here as Straydom goes up and gets shoved right out of it. And Derek Bevan in no doubt. So Joel Stransky. Pretty good looking kick, just away to the left. 1 out of 3 so far for the Springbok kick-up. Penalty against Chester Williams, interfering with the player.
French were looking for a quick start then, and Chester Williams impeded him for a good 10 yards.
Kick made by Terry Lacroix. "17 points against the Scots, 26 against Ireland last week, Terry Lacroix. No opportunity so far today. Marc Session. Merle did well, so the French have it. They'll try and outmuscle the South Africans. Now Delors using the ball. Lacroix for St. Andre. Brave play by the French across the face of the Springbok defence. Kick made by Hubert. They want to use the ball. Scintillating play here from the French. Olivier Merle chased by Durant, and again the ball control. The slippery ball is lost. Interesting play by the French in these conditions.
Yes, they've still decided they want to try and run the ball, and you admire them for that, but the mistake was made by Merle, and now it is a scrum. South African ball. Zrenski shaping to kick.
Van der Westhuizen to Stransky. Sadorni. Slippery ball. Williams coming onto him quickly. Well, all four fullbacks in the semi-finals are going to be tested.
Yes, you're going to see a lot of this. Pierre Berbizier would have liked a nicer day, I think, for his birthday, Grant, but I guess the result is what he'd be looking for.
3 points to 0. South Africa lead. 14 minutes gone. South Africa doing well at the lineouts. Van der Westhuizen again. Coming on the French side by the looks of things. Delors challenged by Van der Westhuizen and gets a good kick away.
It was a good effort by Gaultier there, because Van der Westhuizen went through the middle of a line out, but Gaultier stole the ball off him, won it back for the French.
Lights have been on here at the stadium at Kings Park for the last 3 or 4 hours, so that is not a problem, obviously. Just look at the territory South Africa has had so far in the game. French have not really been in a try-scoring position. Cobus Visa taken in by Andrews on the second take, and it wasn't thrown straight. The rain is still falling, but not as heavily as 5 minutes ago. Gaultier. Oh, it's a bit untidy. Springboks will be onto him pretty quickly. Hacked ahead by Van der Westhuizen. The slippery ball already proving difficult for Fabien Gaultier.
Short line out called again by South Africa.
Andrews jumping against Rumat. Stratum further back. Good work by Andrews once again. Now Stransky. Just out from the 22. Van der Westhuizen going blindside. Sadorni. And he can force this if he wishes to.
A wasted ball then for South Africa. Again, we see the split in the two sides of the field for the French, which is stretching the South Africans.
Stransky, 5 metres on his own side of halfway. Again, the test for Jean-Luc Sadorni. And he is resolute under the high ball this time. Was some suggestion, John, an hour or so before the game, that Jacques Cousteau might play for the French.
Certainly was going to be a late replacement.
Good clearing kick by Sadorni.
That's an excellent kick from Sadorni. He's really got the French back into the South African territory. Their forwards are where at the moment they don't quite have the control that the South Africans do, and that's what they've got to look for to win this match.
Well, the rain tumbling down again. Chris Rousseau is in midfield. Henny LaRue may not see much of the midfield backs of South Africa as Cobus Pisa wins another line-out. South Africans winning all the ball. Now Rousseau. Still not quite to the 10-metre line in South African territory. Good solid play here, taken in by Francois Pienaar. Rousseau's been prominent again. Joubert off the side of the boots. Excellent play by Chris Rousseau, and Joubert's kick into touch on the full.
So we've got a player injured in back play. Looks as though it might be Barley Swart who's down, but excellent forward play then by South Africa. They drove at the maul 2 or 3 times, and it was very interesting that their skipper Francois Pienaar was really instrumental in organisation of the maul, and Rousseau took the advantage to feed Joubert, who unfortunately kicked to touch on the full.
Just look at the rain as South Africa lead by 3 points to 0. Barley Swart slowly coming back into position.
Stay in front of that logo here. Stick on the
19 minutes gone in the first half. Olivier Roumat. South Africa again win it. They're winning all the lineouts. Now Stransky up for LaRue. Big solid tackle by Terry Lacroix. Ball wasn't released by LaRue. No beg your pardons in the tackles.
Now certainly very aggressive midfield defence then. Henny LaRue got everything. He's not a big man, but he got really taken down then.
Lacroix makes the kick.
Terrible conditions to be playing in as the rain pours down here at Kings Park again. Short line out called by France.
Looked to balk that rather, but again it's gone to South Africa. Pienaar this time to win it. France having to play the game so far without the ball. Now Joubert. And off the hand of halfback Gaultier. Well, this is no curtain raiser for Ellis Park. It simply doesn't rain at this time of the year in Johannesburg. One of these two sides will go through to the final next Saturday at Ellis Park in Johannesburg. This time the French get it. It was deflected by a South African. Now Delon for Salah. Good solid tackle. French hit it hard, but they've lost control of it. It would seem. No, they've got it back. Now they go again. St. Andre into Mac. Awkward kick here. Joubert going back. Or collision. Into the worst part of the ground they go. 5 metres out from the line. Opportunity for the French. They've had very few so far. Atrocious conditions near the goalposts. And Derek Bevan blows the whistle. It's a French scrum.
It was a magnificent kick from Emile Intermac then to put the ball in the middle, and confusion as James Small and Andre Joubert collided, but Small has held up well under the pressure. Great attacking chance for France. Andrews standing off blind side.
French lining up to the left. Sadorni's coming blindside. Off the back, Sessillon. Gaultier, Sadorni, they've got him covered. The kick made by Joubert. St. Andre is back. And that's a big punt by Philippe St. Andre. Joubert covering it. And good work by the French captain.
A couple of players down. I think you've got Mark Andrews down and Chester Williams. What a brilliant save by St. Andre, because Jean-Luc Sardinet had been caught with the ball, and then the South Africans worked it back deep, but the skipper was back to support.
Chester Williams in a bit of trouble, so also was Mark Andrews, but they're okay. Stransky goes with the long one. Sardoni's waited well back. Looking for St. Andre. Oh, into Mack. Seemed to go back. The referee indicates it went forward. Playing advantage to South Africa. And he'll go back.
Well, you know, the French do want to work the ball, but to work the ball across field and then change direction on a heavy ground like this is really taking risk you don't need to, and they paid the penalty.
24 minutes gone in the first half. The sole penalty goal kicked by Joel Stransky for South Africa. Tight head. That's a big tight head for Hooker Gonzalez. Now Eubert. And calmly kicked out by Sardoni. Well, the tight head was taken, but it wasn't used.
No, I don't think the French forwards would be very impressed with that, because to win a tight head in these games, in these conditions, is absolutely a bonus. And then to kick the ball straight to Joubert, and now it's the South Africans hard on attack again. Their ball to the line out. They've called short.
Mark Andrews, key man. Didn't quite work this time. Benazi has it for France. Well controlled here by the French forwards. Gaultier for Delot. Oh, charged. And tapped out by Intermac. Meanwhile, there's a bit of trouble there. The forwards a bit slow to get up. They finally sorted themselves out.
Well, the referee missed the little goings-on, so we're back to the line-out.
Francois Pienaar. Gonzalez to throw. It's another one. Van der Westhuizen. So dangerous. Rousseau plays at halfback. He's had a big game so far. Driving off him, Durant. Good stuff here from the Springboks. Close to the line. Not quite there. Andrews trying to get his hands on it. The goal line is right there. Cobus Visa is there too. Now they turn. Go again. Yes! Fracas over the goal line. It's Ruben Kruger who has the try. South Africa lead by 8 points to 0.
Well, this all seemed to go on and on and on, but finally it is the South Africans who got the drive. And keep an eye on number 7, Kruger, who goes to ground. I don't know if we'll see it, but certainly Derek Bevan has called it. The South Africans weren't happy. We'll have another view here. Certainly in perfect position, the referee to award the try, and that will really hurt the French.
What a time to score your first try of the tournament in the semi-final. Ruben Kruger from Northern Transvaal, 8 points to 0. And finally, all the pressure has been turned into points by the Springboks. Stransky landed a penalty early in the game from here. Beautifully judged. A long way now for the French to come back. 10 points to 0. South Africa lead.
And again, it was Van der Westhuizen who played a very pivotal role in breaking from the ruck and made the ground that set them all up for the for the South Africans to score.
Delo. Beautifully controlled by the Springboks. French have got most of their forwards on the other side of the field. Slowly getting there for Van der Westhuizen to make the kick. Partially charged. Away they go again. Well, tempers get a little short in these conditions, and we've seen one or two little flare-ups already in the game.
Yes, it certainly is, and I guess the weather doesn't help that, but they really are getting together now, and I think it's Van der Westhuizen who's down injured and back play again. But the forwards really trying to sort each other out. The referee's got a hard job on his hands at the moment. Looks as though he'll penalise the French for something after the whistle.
Well, discipline, important in these conditions. Sometimes the French let themselves down. They have again. And Joel Stransky, as we have another look here, Van der Westhuizen it was, the little halfback, driving towards the line. Now we can see him there. And there's a bit of late play off the ball. Just Van der Westhuizen had a lot to say during the week after the match against Manu Samoa. I'm sure the Western Samoan players wouldn't agree with some of the things he had to say. He's prepared to dish it out. Is he prepared to take it? The rain tumbling down again at Kings Park. Here's Joel Stransky. Got the distance okay, but pushes it away to the right. Well, he's had several opportunities. So far, Terry Lacroix has not had a shot at goal.
French really being tested now in their discipline, Grant, because it's you just can't afford, they can't afford to give more points away with a 10-0 scoreline against them. They've got to keep in this game.
Delo kicks out. Hubert wearing the protective bandage as he unleashes the kick once again. Kick out by Lacroix. James Small working to a plan, the Springboks. They'll kick it straight down the middle, and the French will have to start again from the 22. Pretty smart tactics in these conditions, John.
Yes, I suppose South Africans are just working on the basis that if they keep them in territory and they get the penalties, they kick the odd points, that's all they need. They've got to get a lead in here.
Drop out by Delo. Hubert. Well claimed by Gaultier. And that's a kick by Sardoni, which has driven South Africa back to halfway.
Excellent kick by Sardoni.
Difficult to know whether the wind is a significant factor. Tends to swirl around the Kings Park, but if there is any breeze, it would tend to favour South Africa in the first half. They lead by 10 points to 0. Lineouts a vital feature. Ruben Kruger, the try scorer. Now Van der Westhuizen coming down just near the 22. Sardoni. Session got back and cover against the South Africans. Some relief here for France. They haven't had too many breaks in the match so far. Lacroix's kick is not a good one. Hubert wearing the Irish handguard makes a good kick up for Benazi, delayed it a wee bit, and Sardoni makes the clearance.
Excellent play from Hubert. keeping the ball along the ground, skidding in towards touch, putting pressure on the South Africans, on the French again to kick into touch, and it's South Africa on attack, short line out.
Rousseau, good timing, Andrews. Van der Westhuizen's kick is off the side. Hannes Stradum, Cobus Visa, Mark Andrews winning the lineouts. Abdul Benazir, Laurent Caban behind him. Gonzalez, tapped by Merle, or straight back to Rousseau, but offside against the Springboks.
South African line-out, they're playing it very tight and are driving in on the French jumpers as they did then and making it difficult for the French to control, but the referee has picked them up this time, going across the line.
Lacroix with the kick, getting good distance. Chester Williams tries to keep it in and does so successfully. Andre Hubert charged. Williams back. Scott Small with him. Caban is there. And what good work by Laurent Caban, putting real pressure on the Springboks.
Excellent save by Williams, but put his side under pressure as Caban chased through and made the charge down.
$10-0. Tense faces. Guy Laporte, Pierre Bibizier. The French brains trust. Now Gaultier. Support from Gonzalez, the hooker. There it is for Gaultier again. Delo for Merle. Standing flat-footed. Again Gaultier. No one home on the blind side. Into Mack. Hard man to put down, but running straight at the South African forward pack. And a penalty. Cobus Visa offside. And the first chance in the match for Terry Lacroix.
Philippe Saint-Andre sprinted in from his wing then to make sure that they took the shot at goal. I think he might worry that they might have tried for the run. Cobus Visa penalised for coming offside at the ruck as the French were trying to win possession. First chance for France. Haven't spent much time down here.
One of the best goal-kicking performances at the 1995 Rugby World Cup from Terry Lacroix. First chance in the semi-final. No problems. So France on the board, and South Africa lead by 10 points to 3.
It was a vital kick for France. They haven't spent any time on attack. The one time they got there, they had to get points.
Kick out made by Stransky. Taken by Rumat. No, it's not. He's lost control of it. Caban grabbed it, though. Gaultier tried to catch Kruger offside. And Sardoni makes the clearing kick once again. It was offside against Ruben Kruger. Referee Derek Bevan was playing the advantage.
Just sense all of a sudden the French a bit of spring in their step as they come to this line out.
They've got the throw. Rumat and Benazir. Rumat pulls back, but it's tapped on the South African side again. Van der Westhuizen. Williams plays halfback and kicks the ball out on the full. Well, it's all hands to the pump today. Chester Williams, the left winger, having to hop in and play halfback.
Can't afford to tap the ball back today. Any taps have got to be down your line, under control. You can't afford to give the halfback bad ball.
Early jump by Mill. Now Laurent Caban having a good game as he did last week against Ireland. Gaultier is in there. They're going backwards. They still have possession of the ball though, in the arms of Roumat. And the penalty. South Africans not staying on their feet, and Van der Westhuizen said something. He can't help himself, the little bloke, and this makes it a lot easier for Lacroix.
Well, that's a vital mistake, Grant, because the penalty was given in the wet, in the water, and now it's been brought to one of the drier areas of the ground, which gives Lacroix an excellent chance to close the gap.
Well, he's a yappy little bloke, and the discipline sometimes is lacking.
Earlier in the game, it was the French who lacked discipline, but now the South Africans have had the pressure turned on them.
Nicely struck again by Terry Lacroix. 2 penalty goals, and the deficit reduced now to just 4 points. 10 points to 6 to South Africa. France right back in this. Stransky kicks out. Benazi waits. Now Caban. He's had an inspired last couple of minutes. Laurent Caban. Down the blind side, Roumat. Oh, lost again. Kruger has it. Everybody's lost it. And referee has to go back to the original knock-on by Olivier Roumat.
Funny where the French locks are having a little bit of trouble. Both Merle and Roumat have lost the ball going forward, and that's a very, very important issue at the moment. You've got to keep control.
Van der Westhuizen. Stransky will test Sardoni. No, in fact, it might be Intermac. No, Sardoni going back. And he's been pretty good under that high ball so far.
Interesting tactics again from South Africa, just trying to get the ball down into French territory.
Well, this was never meant to be a night match, John, but that's what it's turned out to be. Without the lights on here, I wouldn't be able to see you.
Wouldn't be such a bad thing, would it, Grant?
You said it.
Getting towards the end of the first half, I'd say the South Africans would be desperate to get some more points. The wind, although not great, will certainly give a slight advantage. And there's the half-time whistle.
Yes, there's the whistle from Derek Bevan. That's the end of the first 40 minutes here in the first semi-final of the Rugby World Cup. And South Africa lead at the break by 10 points to 6.
Well, very interesting half-time position. South Africa looked to be dominating, but in the last 7 or 8 minutes, we saw the French come back with 2 penalties to put them right in the game at half-time.
Well, it's been wet weather rugby, and certainly, John, the South Africans in the first 20 minutes were able to adapt a lot quicker than the French. But it all turned around in that last 10 minutes or so.
Yes, interesting. Once the French got, I just saw the spring in the step once they kicked that penalty, and they've really come back into the game. Laurent Caban, to me, is starting to play a very big role in the game. He's very quick to the ball, and that's very vital in the wet if you've got that extra bit of pace, and that's maybe where he beats Kruger and Pienaar. That little bit of pace which gives the French something to build on.
The rain has continued to fall throughout the first half. The match started without the rain falling, but even as I look now, it continues to rain. But I think, frankly, conditions good enough to keep going. I don't think there's any suggestion they're going to call this off.
Certainly now the crowd are down a little. Sensed a big victory at 10-0, but with the French coming back, the noise has dropped in the stadium, and now the French urgently looking to turn into the second half. Interesting to me at the scrum time, South Africa certainly have a strong scrum, but without a number 8 to take advantage of it and come off the back, it's been left to a kicking game from the halfback and first 5/8. And I think that is not an insignificant situation as we turn into the second half, because you really need to be able to get over the advantage line, and South Africa certainly so far have relied on the kicking game. Into the wind, they will certainly have to do more.
So some stern words here for both teams. So much at stake. Just look at Francois Pienaar really laying down the law to the South African team. He'd be pretty happy with the way things went early, but they let the French back into it. Some acts of ill discipline, especially from Jos van der Westhuizen, who is a little prone to it, John.
Yes, I say, you know, he's one of these players. He's a game breaker. He can win matches, but he also can concede. And under pressure, he has started to make a couple of vital mistakes, and certainly giving away that penalty was something that his skipper would be far from satisfied. Interesting to see that, you know, in the French camp, Verbizier is doing the talking. In the South African camp, it's certainly Francois Pienaar who's leading the charge, with Kits Christie off the field already.
Well, the crowd came in late. At one stage, it looked like we were going to be a fair few people short here at the ground, but just look at that scene. And the vast majority, of course, in support of the Springboks, so they won't lack for crowd support in the second spell. But things went a bit quiet, as you say, just before half-time.
This first 10 minutes will be vital into the second half. The French will be looking to get some control, to put the ball down into South African territory.
A lot of talk about Andre Hubert during the week, and just look at the rain tumbling down again. And really conditions absolutely dreadful. Still a couple of minutes to go, as the French have already broken up. Now they have to go back into their huddle. The South Africans, very tight unit. So much at stake here. South Africans in their first ever Rugby World Cup. And wouldn't it be just marvellous if they could make it to Ellis Park next Saturday? A lot of pressure on the referee today too, Derek Bevan, the most experienced international referee of all time. And really, what better man to have in the middle of this emotion-charged atmosphere, really, and under the conditions that prevail.
Yeah, he certainly has tremendous control as a referee. Good rapport.
So still a minute remaining in the half-time break. Again, the umbrellas are up as the rain continues to tumble down. And the difference really between the sides in the first half was that well-constructed wet weather try by Ruben Kruger for South Africa.
Yes, they deserved that from the pressure. Came from a Van der Westhuizen break, and we see the French now to kick off and to line up again. And again, they've broken the game up by having half their forwards one side, half the other, and then Delo will choose which way to kick.
Francois Pienaar had a lot to say at half-time. Interesting concept here by the French, because they find that half of their forward pack is not able to get to the ball. They've split the forwards.
Minutes of pressure about to be put into Kings Park, and it's a matter of the team that can handle the pressure, the better, that'll come out and go to Ellis Park.
So time on in the second half. Delo kicks out, man in front, a mile in front. Olivier Merle.
Excellent refereeing, Grant, because he had his back to him. He turned quickly on Delo's kick and spotted the French forwards a good 2 or 3 yards over the line. South Africa, midfield scrum.
Silly mistake by the French early on. 10-6.
Look to Stransky.
Stransky's on the near side. Hubert's gone to the blind side. Held by Andrews. Scrum going back. Trouble. Andrews as the French come through, but they didn't stay on their feet. Fabien Gaultier.
The referee again having a chat to Van der Westhuizen, who got a bit excited after the French forwards come through on him. He awards the penalty here, and then Van der Westhuizen has a few words to say, but the penalty stays with the Springboks, who've kicked now into French territory.
Van der Westhuizen in jersey 24, so he's changed his jersey at half-time. Rousseau. Caban quickly through into Van der Westhuizen, so also Gonzalez. 5 metres on the French side of halfway. Taken up by Pienaar. Good strong work from the Springbok forwards. Surge by Ruben Kruger. Now they get it moving forward. Rousseau's had a strong game. Shovels it out to Stransky. Looking to run it into touch. And the whistle's gone. Offside against the French. Van der Westhuizen down once more. Well, he's got them for offside. Pienaar was complaining about a bit of stamping, I think. Might have been on Van der Westhuizen.
Certainly what he spoke to the referee about, and the referee said he'd caught the penalty, and St Andre being told his player's offside, and he wasn't at all happy, because I'm sure at half-time, Grant, he would have stressed the need for discipline, and they can't afford to let South Africa get away from this narrow advantage early in the second half. The rain's virtually stopped. There's not a lot of wind now at all.
Stransky has a kick here of a good 40 metres. And the rain tumbles down just as Stransky prepares to kick once more. Absolutely bucketing down. Stransky looking good. That's a top kick by Joel Stransky.
That is a magnificent kick under pressure. Incredible weather here. 1 minute, not a sign of rain, and now look at it just bucketing down.
This is absolutely torrential. This is as heavy as it's been all day. Delo kicks out. Oh, that's offside. Off the boot of Andrews, picked up in an offside position by Ruben Kruger. That is a basic error, and a chance now for Terry Lacroix to get those 3 points back immediately.
Again, quite a long kick, but Lacroix has been in great kicking form. Serious mistake by South Africa. Mark Andrews not able to bend down and pick up and control the ball, and Kruger took it from in front of him, and the referee was quick to award the penalty.
You know, there was a test match at Newlands in 1928 between New Zealand and South Africa. They called that the umbrella test. They could just about call this the umbrella test. Terry Lacroix, 3rd penalty attempt, using the wind beautifully. Lacroix kicks a 3rd penalty. France get the 3 to 9.
2 excellent kicks to start the second half. So we're back to the half-time advantage of 4 points to South Africa.
Taken in by the French. Benazzi. Delo thinks about opening it up. The ball tends to stop on the surface fairly quickly. Hubert. And that's clever play by Andre Hubert. Mentioned that Irish handguard. It's used the sort of handguard that's used in hurling. In fact, it was sent to him by a fellow called Roddy Darcy of the Irish National College of Art. So plenty's happened in the last week.
A font of knowledge there, Grant.
Francois Pienaar. Gonzalez to throw. 13 points to 9. South Africa lead. Andrews had a strong game. That's good play. Stayed on his feet. Now he's down to the ground. Van der Westhuizen to Cobus Wiese. Van der Westhuizen gets good ball again. Leroux. Awkward here for the French. Good play by Philippe Salah. No sign of it.
The French are far from happy here because they thought they had it under control on their side of the ruck, but the referee has ruled it the other way, and the South Africans now midfield, 26 metres out, hard on attack. Scrum time.
They could make something of this. Van der Westhuizen. Andrews off the back. Good solid tackle by Laurent Caban. He's been an outstanding player for France today. Penalty. Hand in there. And this is a golden opportunity for Stransky as Fabien Gaultier goes back.
Well, hopefully we may see the replay. The French not happy with the call, but Andrews was driven back in the tackle. Certainly didn't make the advantage line. Session in there, and he's got his hand on the ball, and that's the penalty, and it's good refereeing.
Referees just said Jacobus Wiese should be playing water polo. In fact, Mark Andrews was a water polo player of national prominence, so no wonder he's selected for this game.
Ideal conditions for him. Van der Westhuizen getting treatment in the back again.
Important kick for Joel Stransky. Another one goes through from Stransky. 16 points to 9. The Springboks lead. .32 minutes left in this semi-final. Cleverly tapped down by Ruben Kruger this time. He's had a big game. He scored the only try of the match so far. Gilt-edge delivery to Van der Westhuizen. And that's good play again by South Africa.
Excellent control by the forwards. Kruger did really well. Not only controlled the ball, but drove forward. Gave it beautifully back to Van der Westhuizen, who's driven the French back again. Turning the French well, the South Africans now.
Olivier Roumat. South Africa still doing well at line-out time. Cobus Wiese. Gonzalez looks for Merle. Taken in, though, by Benazi. And the hand in there.
Similar penalty to the last one. The player trying to play it with his hands.
Spiralling away from Terry Lacroix. Well, you never feel as though you've won against the French. John, just ask the All Blacks. You need to be a fair way ahead towards the last 5 minutes of the match. Van der Westhuizen up for Rousseau, who's had a very good game, the hooker. Quite outstanding, in fact.
Good.
Chris Rousseau from Transvaal. Wouldn't be used to these conditions up at Johannesburg.
Had a very strong game, but for South Africa, the hooker.
Caban has been outstanding for the French. Just on the South African side of halfway. Gaultier for Delo. Now Hubert. A test here for the hand. Took it well. French hitting it very low and very hard. And they might just about get the ball here too. No, they don't. Few hands up in the air in horror from the French.
But he's ruled that the kick was that the ball was taken from a kick by Hubert, and he's held up, and they've won the ball, won the scrum.
Van der Westhuizen held by Andrews. Now Stransky. Nice little sidestep, but the tackle was made. Now the French onto it quickly. South African ball.
Well, Stransky showed a bit of bravery there to take the run, but he nearly played volley to it because he got pulled down on a big tackle. But lucky for him, his forwards got there to hold up and win the ruck and get the scrum.
10 minutes gone in the second half. 16-9. Big pressure here from the French. Van der Westhuizen. Going back is St. Andre. Nowhere to go, though. He's managed to stay on the field of play for a few seconds. Good clash on this side. St. Andre and James Small. Haven't seen the local hero really have a run yet. Rugby World Cup semi-final, the first, with South Africa ahead by 16-9. Van der Westhuizen is in trouble again. He's really, I think, struggling around about the rib area, John.
Yes, he's been getting constant treatment for it.
And I think they're going to lose Van der Westhuizen. Johan Roux is on the field. And that's bad luck for Jos van der Westhuizen. A vital part of the Springbok effort. So on comes Johan Roux. Didn't get too close to the razor this morning.
Got an early entry into the game with Cobus Wiese not able to hold that, control that line out, tapping it back. Wouldn't be easy for a halfback coming on in these conditions here today.
Francois Pienaar at the back. They're aiming for Pienaar, but Benazzi is much bigger. Big charge by Abdul Benazzi. But can they get it back? France ball, though.
Good attacking opportunity now. Benazzi starting to get some ball at the back of a line out and drive through. He set the ruck up, and now it is a French attack.
(16-9). Shocking conditions at Kings Park. Session off the back. Good thrust by the veteran, looking for forward support. Lays it up for Gaultier. He in turn gives it to Califano, and accidentally offside.
Accidental offside. He's awarded the ball to South Africa. Interesting there that the French went the left-hand side with Andrew standing on the right.
Johan Roux gets to feed his first scrum, replacing Jos van der Westhuizen. And safely into touch, no distance. Well, this can be very disruptive. The players have had enough disruption today already, but to have a new halfback out there, difficult for South Africa.
Vital part of a game now for France. They've got to get points here. Here's a chance as they go into this line out.
Merle wins it well. Delo, no drop kick so far today. Had 4 last week. Now Hubert, they're coming through on Hubert. Intermac. No, it's gone forwards. Tap forward by one player. Into the arms of Intermac. That is a knock on. A near thing.
Very close for the French, and they chased that kick, but unfortunately going forward.
Big French scrum once more.
The French scrum is starting to put the South Africans under pressure, and therefore you've got problems with Andrews at number 8, having difficulty controlling it in the hand when necessary.
Testing time now for the Springboks. And offside play against Laurent Caban. Wonderful player, Caban. Hubert with the kick.
Excellent kick from Hubert, using his favoured left foot.
(16 minutes gone in the second half. 16-9. The prize is a trip to Ellis Park, Johannesburg, for the winner of this game. Ruben Kruger scored the try for South Africa. Ball wasn't thrown straight. Well, all the pressure at the moment anyway coming from the French. Gaultier. Delo, not such a good kick. Small can mark this if he feels like it. Well, that really was a waste of time from Christophe Delo.
French forwards far from happy with that. That was just a wasted kick.
James Small gets it out, but that's about all you could say.
I wouldn't say punting's one of his strengths by the looks of it.
Has more caps than any other Springbok in this match, James Small.
A lot of talking going on in the French back line.
They'd like to have a run if they can get this line-out ball. Important, Gonzalez has to get it right. Oh, Roumart was suspended up there for a long time. He didn't get it, though. But the French do have it.
French, they decided to go up the middle and they split the South Africans twice. I thought the penalty may have come earlier as the South Africans took one of them all, tried to take them all down on a couple of occasions. But he's waited, he's played it well, the referee, and now they've got the kick about 27 metres, 25 metres from out and not too wide for Lacroix to try and reduce this advantage to 4 points.
It was a good drive here by the French players coming in from the side. Wonderful goal kicking form again today by Lacroix. Just like a machine. Another penalty goal for Terry Lacroix. That's 4 today, and South Africa's advantage now just 4 points, 16-12.
Pressure's the name of this game. You can't afford to make mistakes.
Kick out by Stransky. France have been calling the tune in the last 10 minutes of this game. Trouble here for Johan Roux. As the rain starts to tumble again. South Africa's ball.
Better scrum from South Africa, then they put the pressure back on the French. It's about the first time they've really scrummed strong in this half, and they really are serious about this one as they go in again hard.
They need to regain the ascendancy in this game. Williams traps it at the back, at least Andrews traps it at the back. They've got to keep it straight. They're done well. Johan Roux has joined in. Now they snap it up. Away for Pina. Roux bangs it hard. St. Andre has it covered. Oh, don't overrun it. Trouble there.
Certainly could have got in trouble behind his post, Dan. Interesting at that scrum. I thought the ball came out twice and was returned to the scrum by the South Africans. Both occasions. Pierre Bibizier looking on. French have to get out of their territory, have to get out of this end of the field.
Back for Terry Lacroix to kick long. Stransky keeps his hands out of the road. Small goes back. Now can he do a better job punting this time? No, straight at Roumart. The big fella gets up steam. Good sidestep away from Small. Supporters there. Very dangerous and broken play, the French. Delot. For Intermac to run onto. Hubert read it well, though. Clever play by Andre Hubert. Session missed it. Pienaar wants it quickly.
Outstanding play by the South African fullback. Not only did he collect the ball, but he read immediately that the French were up on attack, and he's kicked it back, chased the kick. The French caught in their own 22, and now the South Africans hard on attack. Their ball to the line out.
16 points to 12, South Africa. A real dogfight in the lineouts. Again, the hooker, Chris Rousseau. Ruben Kruger. They set it again for Johan Roux. No, in fact, it's Andrews. Adapted pretty well to the number 8 position today. Oz Durant, the prop forward. Next man up is Pienaar. Back to the old-fashioned one-off running for the Springboks. Now they shovel it out for Hubert. James Small. Sidoni gets a telling kick in. It's all over the place. Yapi Mulder. Into Mac coming across. Now broken play. Into Mac is so good. The French counter-attack. Salah. Benazi Salah again. The game opening right up as Chester Williams goes back. Oh, he should have kicked it out. Penalty.
And that was a brilliant display of hands under pressure to clear the ball on the right-hand side.
Running repairs for Henny LaRue. Meantime, Terry Lacroix. 8 penalty goals on this ground last week. No misses so far today.
This is possibly his hardest kick today. Wide out.
Just away to the right. So that is a rare miss for Terry Lacroix. And South Africa maintain their lead 16 points to 12. Pierre Berbizier looks at the clock. 16 minutes. 15 minutes remaining. Stransky off the side of the boot somewhat for Benazi. Not down yet. Ripped away by Caban. Good ball for Gaultier. Just delayed at a moment. Good thundering tackle by Francois Pienaar. Gaultier didn't see him coming.
That was an outstanding tackle by the South African captain. He has driven Gaultier into the ground and won possession in a vital phase of the game for South Africa.
It was always going to be a tight game, this one. 16 to 12. The one tight head has gone to the French. Front rows came up. They're not allowed to do that.
French may have been lucky not to have been penalised then, because they really tried to stand up then and put the pressure on the South African pack.
Untidy Joubert. He really is an outstanding fullback. You can understand why they've tried so hard to get him fit this week. France go quickly.
Well, the French making the mistakes that only the French will do. Their eagerness to attack from anywhere has got them in trouble this time. They took the short line out, the quick throw, but got caught in possession, and now the scrum has gone and South Africa on attack again.
Johan Rue, the replacement halfback. Stransky. Johan Rue, though, with the kick. Down into the corner. It's a good one. It's a beauty. Sidoni unleashes. And he's done well.
South Africans holding the advantage, not only on the scoreboard, but now in the territorial game, which is vital. Down in the French, inside the French 22, their line out.
Chris Rousseau. Mark Andrews has been a significant factor. So far, that experiment has seemed to work, John.
Yes, he's doing well on the line out, although I still think coming off the back, he just doesn't have the ability to drive on. But it's not necessary at the moment, because the scrum's holding up and the ball's getting put behind the French backs by the South African insides, and particularly Joubert.
Merle gets high. South African ball. Stransky. LaRue. On goes to Ront. Now, Stransky sees a little gap. Runs smack into Olivier Merle. Delving in after it, the South Africans. They've got it too. Rue. The little kick. Sardoni. Snapped up by Intermac right on the goal line. Still have control of it, the French. Now the flag is out from Wayne Erickson. Let's see what the story is here.
This could be a very vital call. If it goes against the French, this is a vital call in the game.
It's going to be against Olivier Merle. He's thrown a punch. It's going to be a penalty to South Africa. It's going to be a penalty, and it's going to be a good bollocking.
Well, Olivier Merle is going to be called out. He's been penalised for punching. And here is a vital call in this game. The French got themselves into all sorts of trouble with a very clever kick from Johan Rue at scrum half. And whilst they kept control of it, they managed, the South Africans put all the pressure on, and in the ensuing fracas, Merle has thrown a punch, which may be a killer punch as far as the French going to Ellis Park is concerned.
So, Joel Stransky could make this 19 points to 12 if he lands this. The French have to produce something in the last 11 or 12 minutes. The crowd on the far side will know. And they like it. Four penalty goals today from Joel Stransky, 19 to 12, and about 10 minutes left. This is when the French are at their very most dangerous. Through the hands of Kovas Visa. They need a converted try to draw level.
10 minutes left. They really have to get the points now. The South Africans know that they've got to hold on.
Gaultier, good little surge from the halfback, finds Gonzalez the hooker. Gaultier has it again. Deslo, the kick. Hubert waits. They're coming from all directions. Hubert took it well.
Tremendous courage under the high ball from Hubert.
And a good kick to boot.
I'm not sure the French would be too happy with Deslo today. In my view, he hasn't kicked accurately, and he needs to put pressure on, and Hubert wasn't under enough pressure then. He took the kick, he had time, and he made the catch.
All the pressure on the French now. Good line-out ball. Pinard's got himself in the road. He couldn't let the ball go. Now it's back for Gaultier. Deslo shovels it on this time. Salah doesn't make many mistakes. Knocked it on. Now Rousseau, one of the standout players, ripped away, but they'll have to go back and start again. The knock on by Philippe Salah.
Red mistake by the French midfield Centurion, but that was a vital mistake again. They can't afford to give South Africa the ball with only 8 minutes remaining on the clock.
Johan Rue. Trapped in the back by Andrews. Hubert. Pressure telling on everyone. Yuppie Mulder. And he kicks it out on the full.
Well, Hubert took his eyes off that ball, made the mistake, Now South Africa have put themselves under pressure as the French go to a line out 30 metres out. Desperation in the eyes of their hooker.
They can produce tries from anywhere, they've proven that.
Olivia Merle certainly needs to deliver something now for his side.
Looking for Caban. Beautifully taken, Laurent Caban. Now Gaultier has it. Delo. Kick made by Lacroix and tapped out by Hubert. But France are on a bit of a roll with 7 minutes to go.
Better play from the French backs. Kicking from first five, not always the answer. When you're getting the ruck, get it out to second. Bring the opposition backs up, then kick them behind them. It's exactly what they did then.
French have the territorial advantage in the second half. They conceded it by a long way in the first.
French desperate to score.
Semi-final at the Rugby World Cup. South Africa lead. Beautifully taken, Benazi. Now the real test will come on the South African pack, and they hold them out. Doing okay. Still in there though, the French have it. Goal line is only 5 metres away. Have to keep them all moving. Derek Bevan right there, firmly clasped in the arms of the French, and they didn't keep it moving.
Well, pretty harsh ruling really, because they did have it under control, but he has obviously told them to move it, and they failed to get it back as the South Africans got their arms around it at the vital time.
Whistle's gone.
Gaultier has scored, but unfortunately for him, the ball was not delivered properly to the scrum, and Johan Roux will have the play again.
Big scrum here for the Springboks. Held by Andrews. Looking for Hubert, and that's some relief.
Showing the advantage then of a left foot, a magnificent kick from Hubert. Being able to clear across his forwards. That left foot coming into play then, and now the French have another line out, desperate to score.
Two-man line out this time. 4 minutes plus the referee's time. Tap by Benazi. Merle. He needs to give something back. There it is. Gaultier. Delo. Pushing it away towards Intermac. And what have we got here? It's offside.
Penalty.
Offside against South Africa. Now the French have got to take the penalty kick. Grab the 3 points now and try and get back. Well, this is tense. This will make it 19-15. Terry Lacroix. Easily through. 19 points to 15. And still about 4 minutes left in this match.
The French have to score a try. So now the decision there to take the penalty, probably the right one, but they must score. They've not got much time to do it, so they've got to get straight back now and go for the try.
The two kickers have traded penalty goals in the second half. Stransky. Oh, that's not 10 metres. That's a bad blue. The French will come back, you'll excuse the pun, to midfield.
The French backs will be looking to do something here. Is it to be Delo in the air, or will they use the ball?
Gaultier for Delo. Looking to kick it out to James Small. That's lost forward. And that'll be a scrum. And James Small struggling. He has been with a hamstring injury.
I don't think it goes up to his arms, but there was no excuse for him then to drop that ball. It was a pretty vital drop. Two mistakes from the South Africans in the last couple of minutes have given the French the position they need on the field if they're going to score a try.
They haven't scored a try in the match so far. They can produce them, though. Been proven many, many times. Held by Session. Big scrum. Johan Roux is poised. Session has it. Now, Delo, another kick. Hubert, here they come again. He's lost it. Benazi, is he there? Referee looks and doesn't give it. Oh, disappointment all round for the French. Benazi must have been so close.
Well, he drove so low, he went through. It must have been a magnificent stop by one of the South Africans if he hasn't scored, because he really had a drive on. Watch him here. He drives through. And from there, the referee looks to have made an excellent decision as he's caught short of the line. James Small, correcting himself for his drop ball, goes in and makes a very, very gutsy defending save for the South Africans.
Hold up and play.
The South Africans will attack through their scrum. They have to score the try. The penalty's not enough.
Big scrum, this one.
Andrews is off.
Scrum. They're all in here, the French. They're going to try and use their backs to push it over. Now they'll have to hack it back.
Giving them another scrum, another chance. South Africans have got Andrews off. The French are trying to attack the scrum. A good defence from South Africa there. They have it laid on them again.
They've produced so many Houdiniacs over the years, the French. They think they've got a better scrum. They're going to try and prove it. No, it's screwed again.
But it gets another yard closer to the line. It's only a couple of metres out.
Using time up too. Right down to the wire in the first semi-final. Big South African scrum. Boy, I tell you what, it'd be a brave referee to award a penalty try in these situations.
Doing a lot of talking here in this last minute of the game.
Gaultier. They're going to have another go. Held by Session. Gaultier. Up to Lacroix. The tackle's coming from everywhere. Huge defence. And they get the scrum. Well, you'd think they'd scored a try. Those tackles had to be made. Injury here. Bali Swart once again.
And now with virtually, I'd say, the last play of the game, the South Africans have to keep their scrum solid. They have to get Roux has to deliver the ball. Stransky or Joubert have to clear for touch. And then they can go to Ellis Park. Watch Lacroix. He made the run in the midfield. He took the crunch. Some excellent defence. Firstly, Kruger, Pienaar and Stransky joined in. And they've won the scrum ball at a vital time.
Now the scrum. South African ball this time. Two minutes into extra time already. Must be almost over. Big French scrum again. Johan Roux waits. Back for Stransky, gets it out. Referee checks the watch. The Springboks will go to Ellis Park and play in the World Cup final next Saturday. Tremendous emotion at Kings Park in Durban. They didn't do it easily, but they did it well. And the Springboks have won by 19 points to 15.
And probably deserved to do so. They scored the only try. They held under pressure. And here's the last play of the game, and the French are absolutely dismayed. Good scrum. Stransky clears, makes touch. The referee signals, and Pienaar and his fellow team went into the air and then ran towards their dressing room, whilst the French stay in a huddle midfield.
Good scrum. It started to swirl around a wee bit. And Johan Roux has done well since he got onto the park. Stransky just booted it for all he was worth. And that was it. And the French being saluted now. Tough times for Olivier Roumart. Probably his last Rugby World Cup. And he is inconsolable. So that's the final scoreline. There was only one try scored in the semi-final by Ruben Kruger. The rest of the points came from the goal kickers. It was always going to be one of those games in these dreadful conditions. One try was enough, and South Africa get through by 19 points to 15. They'll go to Ellis Park. It's a question of who they play, the All Blacks or England.
Well, there'll be nothing better now to see a South Africa-New Zealand final at Ellis Park. And all eyes now will be on the All Blacks as we turn to Cape Town for the big semi-final against England. But the South Africans have won through under great pressure. Their discipline held, and they managed to keep the control with the line-out. They managed to make the decisions at the right time. The French probably tried a little too much at times in the wet weather and failed in the end to get the points that they so badly needed in the closing stages of the game. I think South Africa have deserved to win this very enthralling encounter, which really has had all sort of mystique to it, with an hour-and-a-half delay, and the game finally won in very good fashion by South Africa over a very disconsolate French side.
Yes, a miracle really. The game was even played. Dreadful conditions, but they got there in the end. South Africa scored the one try that mattered by Ruben Kruger, the open side flanker. And you can see the rest of the job done by the goal kickers. 5 penalty goals by Thierry Lacroix for France, 4 by Joel Stransky, who converted the try scored by Kruger. And at the end, it was 19-15, 4-point advantage at the end. It was a 4-point advantage at half-time, 10 points to 6. There was never much in it, but really it has set up the final now. The home team are in it, as they have been in the last 2 World Cups. New Zealand, of course, in 87, England in 91, and the home side again is through in 1995, and we wait till tomorrow now to find out who the opponent is, England or New Zealand. Just standing by now to wait for the interviews after the match, and we should hear very shortly from Francois Pienaar, the South African captain, who gave, once again, John, an inspirational display.
Yeah, tremendous leadership from Pienaar. But if I had to name a player that was probably instrumental in the game, it'd have to be the fullback Andre Joubert, because coming in under a severe cloud, he took everything that was thrown at him and he made some brilliant telling kicks.
Well, the first up is Philippe Saint-André.
Philippe Sella, captain of France. Needless to say that you are terribly disappointed, but this was a wonderful contest, and in the end, sorry that there must have been a loser.
Oui, dans ce terrible match, c'est un match qu'à la fin, il y a eu un perdant et un gagnant. Qu'est-ce que tu penses?
Je voulais féliciter les Sud-Africains pour la qualité de leur match et qui leur ouvre les portes de la finale de la Coupe du Monde.
I just want to congratulate the South African team who played a very great game, and I just wish them good luck for the final.
Would it be true to say that perhaps the difference between the two teams was the fact that the Springboks scored when it mattered, whereas France sometimes could not convert the pressure into points?
Est-ce que le fait que la victoire est tournée du côté sud-africain par le fait qu'ils aient marqué un essai quand cela comptait en première mi-temps?
Oui, sûrement, bien que nous on aurait pu marquer un essai en deuxième mi-temps où Abdel Benazi tombe à 10 cm de l'en-but.
You are right, but on the outside, I mean, we missed a try in the second half where it needed only 10 centimeters to score.
And then the Springboks stuck to their game plan throughout the 80 minutes, whereas France in the beginning tried to run and spread the ball. Does he think that is perhaps where they went wrong to begin with?
Vu que les Springboks ont joué accordé à leur plan pendant 80 minutes, alors que les Français ont essayé de jouer, de faire courir le ballon au début du match, est-ce que tu penses que ça a eu un impact sur le score final?
Non, mais je crois qu'on voulait faire courir le ballon encore beaucoup plus aujourd'hui, mais les conditions climatiques ne pouvaient pas nous le permettre. C'est vrai qu'on aurait aimé envoyer beaucoup plus de ballons au large, c'est notre éducation, c'est notre système de jeu, mais aujourd'hui les conditions ne nous les permettaient pas.
We wanted to run the ball the whole game during 80 minutes, but today the condition didn't allow us to do so.
After the game started hour and a half late, was it difficult for you to motivate your players again to come out again and warm up and perhaps to start all over again, getting yourself mentally into the game?
Est-ce que le fait d'avoir commencé le match avec 1h30 de retard a eu un impact sur le fait que ça a été plus difficile de motiver les joueurs dans leur préparation?
Non, pas du tout. Vous savez, une demi-finale de la Coupe du Monde, qu'on la joue à 3h de l'après-midi ou à 3h du matin, on doit être présent.
They said, not at all. The fact that we play at 3 o'clock could have been 3 o'clock in the morning. Everybody was ready.
Now, next week you've got to play the third and fourth playoff. Will it be difficult for you after the disappointment today to pick your guys up to go into that match?
Après la déception d'aujourd'hui, tu penses que ce sera difficile pour motiver les joueurs pour le match de la 3e et 4e place?
Plus que difficile.
More than difficult.
Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
So the French captain Philippe Saint-Andre, they've been a very popular side here at the Rugby World Cup, and well, they do, John. They have to get themselves up now for the match for second and for third and fourth at least. That match to be played at Loftus Versfeld in Pretoria next Thursday, and that's always a difficult one, as you would know.
Certainly not easy to look forward to that one.
Let's hear now from Francois Pienaar.
Francois Pienaar, captain of South Africa, you are through to the final after a wonderful contest.
Yes, definitely. I'm delighted. Not a lot of people gave us a chance. We're in the finals of the World Cup, and I think only on Monday we realised that great victory. I must take my hat off to 35 odd people involved with the Springbok squad that got us there. We've got a lot of hard work to do before the final still.
Those last 3, 4, 5 minutes, it must have been hard stopping, but you did keep your cool.
Yes, it was. We made silly mistakes, really. We made basic errors. I think the guys were very jittery. We didn't play the rugby that we could have at some stages, but we're going to the finals, and that's all that matters. I mean, luckily we can work on that towards the finals. Luckily, that didn't cost us the match, and we would have been in tears now.
Well, the difference perhaps was the fact that you scored when it mattered and when you had territorial advantage, whereas as France could not convert the pressure into points.
Great defence, I must say. The guys kept their cool. Great defence. We only gave one penalty away for offsides. That to me is a great discipline of the side. And if you want to win a big match like this, you need those basic things.
One got the idea that you were going to play with your forwards regardless of the conditions, and you stuck to your game plan, and that paid off.
Yes, it did pay off. We were unlucky at some stages, but as I said, we made basic errors, and we can work at that. But I'm not even looking at how we played or what we did. We've won, we're through to the finals, and we can just thank our maker for giving us the talent to do that.
And despite the rain, tremendous support by the crowd again.
Excellent. I didn't know you get such weather in Durban. I only saw it in New Zealand. But luckily we've played in New Zealand, so we're used to the conditions.
When will you begin to start thinking about the final?
Tomorrow morning.
Francois Pienaar, congratulations and thank you.
Thank you, David.
Francois Pienaar then, the South African captain, and smiles all round, and very nice of him to say that a bit like New Zealand conditions. Never been as bad as this, I can assure you. So there we are, 19 points to 15. The Springboks are through to the Rugby World Cup final to be played next Saturday at Ellis Park, Johannesburg. The French will play in the third and fourth playoff match at Loftus Versfeld in Pretoria next Thursday. And the second semi-final will be played at Newlands in Cape Town tomorrow between New Zealand and England. But here at Kings Park, Durban today, South Africa through to the World Cup final, beating the French by 19 points to 15. As we have a look at the try scored in the match.
Van der Westhuizen driving forward, the African forwards getting control at the back. Rousseau had a big game, set it up, the drive with his big forwards in support, and Kruger's got his hands on it now, and it's the South African forwards that drive him over. Ball coming back again, the South Africans regrouping. Kruger comes back into the play. The ball spun with he and Visa, and he takes it off Visa and drives across the line. And I think it's this time that the referee's hand goes up in the air, and the salute of a try is also the salute of a trip to Ellis Park.
Good strong play here by the Springbok forward pack. They took it one way, they spun it back, took it the other. Ruben Kruger, and he just reaches through here, puts it on the ground. Derek Bevan couldn't be better placed, and that was the only try scored in the semi-final, but it was enough, and I think this might be the last act of the game.
The big scrum that South Africa needed to hold on. Johan Roo to make the clearance, and he did a great job coming on for his country in difficult conditions. And then it's Stransky, kick for touch, and this time it's into the dressing rooms as the game comes to an end with a South African victory, and certainly I think a deserved victory, albeit so close in the end.
So that's it from Kings Park in Durban. 19 points to 15, South Africa through to the World Cup final. On behalf of John Hart, this is Grant Nisbet.
Athletes with speed, strength, stamina, and agility from around the globe will represent their countries in South Africa for the love of the sport. Rugby World Cup 1995. The semifinals are June 17th and 18th. The finals on June 24th. Experience the tradition on pay-per-view.
Cape Town, mother city of South Africa, in the Cape Province, a beautiful scenic place.